LAPD officer Kevin Gaines was gunned down by one of his own, killed on Tuesday afternoon in North Hollywood by an undercover officer.
I turned and was heading back to Hollywood Division. I was alone, but my whole team was responding back to Hollywood. We cleared the investigation. I was leading the pack going back to Hollywood. I was stopped at a red tri-light. A few seconds later, I hear rap music. I looked to my left. There was a green Mitsubishi Montero, male black, or looking in my direction. I assumed at the time that he was looking at someone on the sidewalk. So I turned my head and looked to the sidewalk, and no one was there. So he's still looking at me, staring right at me. So I rolled my window down, and I said, "Can I help you?" At which point he responded, "Ain't nobody looking at you, punk motherfucker. Roll that window up, I'll put a cap in your ass." That never happened to me before. I mean, I'm not a big, super tough, violent kind of guy, and I'd never had a one-on-one contest where somebody said that to me like that. And I said, "Excuse me?" Then the gang signs came out. Obvious blood gang signs. "I'll put a cap in your mouth," and we went on. I went, "Okay, let's go," with no intent to fight him. But I said, "Let's go." Verbal judo. I was, "Let's go, right here. Let's do it now." So the light turned green. I pulled forward. He pulled in behind me, and we went through the intersection. He pulled right to the red zone and stopped. And I drove right away. And I'm watching him in the mirror, and he was on the steering wheel, and he was doing one of these deals. And the 3 lanes of traffic were backed up. We get to the next light in Regal Place. There's a gas station on the northeast corner. But when I got there, I was about 4 cars back. The number 1 car in the left turn lane blew the red light, got on a freeway. The number 1 car in the number 1 lane blew the red light and got on a freeway. And the cars moved forward, leaving a space open for me, right next to me. And I'm watching in my mirror, and he's coming. He broke traffic and was literally going in the northbound lane. I was on my radio saying, "Hey guys, I got a problem. I got a black guy in a green Jeep up here, might have a gun, I need help. I'm not gonna be locked in my car." So the first thing I did is unhook my seatbelt. I took my Beretta 9mm out of my holster and put it in my lap, facing the passenger driver's door. And I'm watching him in the mirror talking on the radio. When that car pulled forward and leaving a space next to me, I remember saying to myself, "Shit." And he pulls up alongside of me and slams to a stop, and the truck actually jerked. And he comes across his body with a stainless steel pistol. He leans across the passenger seat like this here and screams, "I'll cap you, motherfucker." Can't say I was afraid of him, but I had no control over my body. You know, I couldn't go back because I'm in the front seat of my car. I had the seat. I couldn't go to the right because it's still in line of fire. I couldn't go to the left because I'm at the door. The only place I could go was forward. So I went forward, hit my chest on the steering wheel, took my foot off the brake, and I bridged the gap between me and the car in front of us, which is about 3 foot, 4 foot. And as soon as I bridged the gap, I kind of recovered fairly quickly, and I came up with my gun. Here's the door frame, my window. I came up with my gun over my shoulder backwards, and as soon as I cleared my window frame, I fired a round, bang. And after I fired the second round, I almost could hear the impact, the thud of the round hitting him. But I definitely saw it in his face. We were only 9 feet away, 9 feet apart, and his eyes got really big, and he got this grimace on his face. And his arm went from this position here right straight to the steering wheel. It didn't do one of these deals. It went right to the steering wheel, and he accelerated. I could tell by the look in his eyes that I hit him hard. And as he pulls into the gas station, the momentum just stopped. It went, ooh. You know, not to be callous or cold or anything, but I kind of thought, good. I mean, you know, that's the nature of the beast. And they got this stupid look on their face. And Dennis walks up to me and puts his arm around me and says, "You're gonna have to suck this one up." The guy was a policeman. I says, "What?" He says, "Guy was a policeman." I says, "From where?" "One of ours, worked Pacific." I says, "You're kidding me." At that point, now the world was crashing down. He says, "They're gonna kill me now. They're gonna destroy me." All I knew was that I just shot a black police officer, and that was gonna cause a lot of problems. History of LAPD. Rodney King.
The use of force that night was excessive once he viewed the videotape.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Stacey C. Kuhn, not guilty of the crime of assault by force likely to produce great bodily injury.
92 riots.
You're
just inundated by all of these people on both sides of the street.
Someone did go in. Somebody drove up in a Jeep or a Suzuki Samurai. They went in and they didn't come out.
All this a shame because they had all this on tape. They saw the way Rodney King was beaten.
O.J. Simpson trial.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder. Guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section.
Mark Furman issue. Johnny Cochran.
Detective Furman, did you plant or manufacture any evidence in this case?
I assert my Fifth Amendment privilege.
We vouch for, in terms of Detective Furman, in terms of everyone in this case, is that no one planted any evidence at any time. There has been no false statement made about where that evidence was found, the analysis of the evidence, or its results. And the defense wants to squirm away from that fact by playing the race card.
He talks a lot about this idea of a race card.
Now me.
There was a gentleman named Russell Poole who was a detective, LAPD, that alleged that this conspiracy was for the death of a police officer named Kevin Gaines. Kevin Gaines was driving Suge Knight's wife's car, Sharitha's car, got into a road rage issue with a police officer named Frank Lyga, who was undercover. They ended up shooting it out. Kevin Gaines got killed.
After the shooting, there was 4 or 5 other witnesses that had called LAPD to report that this same officer, Gaines, had either badged or brandished his gun in similar road rage type incidents. While we were at the scene, we received a clue that Gaines had a girlfriend that lived in Hollywood Hills. And when we got there, it turned out that his girlfriend was Sharitha Knight, who was the estranged wife of the owner of Death Row Records. And that's when I felt that we had something.
A receipt would also allegedly be recovered from Kevin Gaines, totaling just under $1,000 from Monty's Steakhouse, which was said to be a frequent chill spot for Death Row Record affiliates at the time. Police wondered why a man on an LAPD salary was spending lavishly like this, and on top of that, he was discovered with 9 credit cards in his wallet. From this point forward, the Russell Poole theory was born.